Hello everyone, I'm Paleo Parks and welcome to another episode of Primeval Sanctuary, where I'll be building a YUTYRANNUS habitat as well as this roundabout sort of thing with a little garden inside of it, with the centerpiece being this cool tree lit up with some green lights. Hello everyone, welcome to the building segment of this video, and currently we are starting off with filling in this little hole in the pavement with a garden. Now this garden is going to be surrounded by some planters, a bunch of planters, and some rock planters, and of course some concrete barriers with some lights as well, just so we get a nice some protection between the guest and the garden, because we don't want any of our guests trampling the beautiful trees inside of this garden. Otherwise the gardeners themselves would be pretty disappointed, and you know, they don't really want to they don't get paid enough to deal with guests trampling the grasses of our gardens. I said gardens 50 times in the last like 30 seconds, but whatever. Right now it hasn't really turned into a garden. It's just been like a bunch of trees with some rocks in between, but whatever, we'll not talk about that right now. We're building an even bigger garden in this roundabout sort of section, and it's going to be enclosed within some multi walls instead of concrete barriers and planters like the other one was. And yeah, I usually play with terrain a lot inside of stuff like this, but since I didn't really want to ruin the paving, I couldn't really do much. So all I did was have a tiny hill right before the water and place a massive tree in the middle, and I took this temperate rock, this massive temperate rock, and started like surrounding the tree with them, because I wanted to give this effect of this tree being really special, and how these rocks here are like they are protecting this tree from the elements, because this tree is important. I don't really know what I was thinking, but I thought it was a cool little addition to this garden. And matter of fact, usually I like using taiga no matter what the biome, no matter what. No, forget that sentence. I don't even know what I was gonna say there, but usually I play with a bit of taiga. Well, now I'm playing with taiga, but in this enclosure specifically, not enclosure, but this garden specifically, I am using some alpine trees, mainly because I wanted to switch it up. Taiga is my favorite set of trees in this game. I've said that plenty of times over, but alpine and maybe temperate is a good second. Now I'm having some lights here trying to, well, I had some lights there trying to make this tree even more special, and they were all green and stuff. So I once again, I literally do not know what I was thinking when making that, but it was cool, I guess. Now here we are making our YUTYRANNUS enclosure. I was about to say Australopithecus, but that was the last episode, so whatever. This was the YUTYRANNUS enclosure, and I decided to make a slight change here. I decided to put the YUTYRANNUS enclosure underground, sort of, and have the viewing galleries loom over this YUTYRANNUS enclosure. But to be honest, I really don't like the effect it gave. It might be because I didn't place the fencing low enough, because once you go into the viewing gallery, it just like the fencing obstructs the view of the actual enclosure, so you can't really see much. And because the actual fencing is separate from the viewing gallery, the YUTYRANNUS are very far away from the viewing gallery, so you can't really see them much. But still, the main reason I built this park in the first place was to first reactivate my love for this game, and second, to experiment with my style, right? I was still trying to figure out what I was really good at in this game, what I liked doing in this game. I tried to figure out like my voice, basically. So I tried to experiment with a bunch of different things. I experimented with different decorations, different biomes, or at least replicating different biomes. And to be honest, I really didn't like experimenting with this enclosure specifically, because it just kind of turned out pretty ugly in the end. Maybe I could redo it, but no, I won't redo it. It takes too long. Anyway, what you're seeing me build right now is this sort of rock wall, mainly because YUTYRANNUS, I heard it lived in sort of commonly volcanic areas, so I tried to use this tropical rock because it looked very burnt and crispy, probably due to the effects of the magma inside volcanoes. And because of this volcano, I figured, hey, there must be fire everywhere, the trees might be burnt down. So I originally started placing some trees without any leaves, like those old tiger trees, but it turns out they were way too small to fill an enclosure this big, so I switched to using some alpine trees and tried to create this sort of redwood environment, because I also heard that YUTYRANNUS lived in the redwoods. I am stuttering so much in this episode. Literally, okay, you know what? Here's my here's what goes on in every single episode of Primeval Sanctuary, right? I'm talking about something useless, completely unrelated to the actual build, and then I somehow segue into talking about the actual build, and then I talk about how I am messing up my English in this video, even though it's my first language. That's how it goes. Right, I have no idea what to talk about next, but whatever. See, like this is just common stuff on this channel, right? I just talk about how I don't know what to talk about. I talk about how I'm stuttering a bunch and all that, but Jaden, just focus on the build. There's like 9 seconds left until this video, not the video, until the building segment ends. So yeah, see you in the cinematic shots in the outro, guys. See ya. Bye bye. I don't know. After that rather lackluster narration for my building, I have a few words to place inside of your ears before I put this video to an end. Now, I think the enclosure itself is absolutely stunning, and I firmly believe that the skins I selected for the YUTYRANNUS fit in really well with the enclosure it resides in. However, I must say, I wish this video was longer. There was plenty of empty space left behind which I didn't find the time to build in, so if you have any ideas for what I should put in the space in the next episode, whether it be a barrage of amenities or an enclosure stuffed inside this nook, leave those plans in the comments. I also want to say, although I love the interior of the enclosure, I'm really not a fan of it not being on the same level as the viewing galleries, which is something I said in the speed build. So next time I build an enclosure, I know I better not pull this off again, unless I have the proper education to qualify myself to do so. Anyway, I want to thank you all for staying all the way to the very end of this video, so if you enjoyed it, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day, and see you next time.